listeners, and welcome to Teachers Have Issues. Yes, I am your host, Lana, the educator. If you're a first-time listener on this channel, welcome. Here we explore the latest educational trends and tackle pressing issues facing the education sector. We also conduct insightful interviews with people making a difference and share stories of triumph and innovation from classrooms around the globe. If you're interested in all of this, then like and subscribe. Today on Teachers Have Issues, yes, I welcome my guest, Waltrude Brown. So let me tell you a bit about Waltrude. She hails from the beautiful island of St. Lucia. If you haven't visited, I invite you to do so. She has dedicated her life to the field of education with an impressive 38-year teaching career, primarily as a grade 6 educator. She has also gained experience teaching students from kindergarten through grade 8. As a lifelong learner and advocate for academic excellence, Waltrude holds a bachelor's degree in special education from the University of Lynchburg and a master's degree in educational leadership and emerging technologies from Miami City University, where she graduated first class honors magna cum laude. She has also pursued specialized qualifications from the University of the West Indies in mathematics education, focusing on both the nature and the structure of mathematics at the primary level mathematics. Beyond the classroom, Waltrude has played an instrumental role in curriculum development and educational leadership. She has been a presenter and panelist at mathematics symposiums, a team member for curriculum review in mathematics, and a partner with the Cuban delegation to explore mathematics frameworks. Her dedication also extends to technology in education, having taught information technology for grades 7 to 9 at what is now the Institute of Arts, Media, and Design. Waltrude's leadership extends beyond education into disaster preparedness and community service. She is the immediate past president of the Castries South East Disaster Committee and is trained in first response, mass casualty management, and shelter management. Currently serving as the principal of Bexon RC Infant School, she has also taken on key roles such as literacy coordinator, teacher in charge of discipline, and acting curriculum officer in mathematics. She was part of a specialized team that refined the special needs curriculum and contributed to the organization of Eastern Caribbean states' harmonized curriculum standards. At her core, Waltrude is a transformational leader. She's a mentor and an advocate who is deeply committed to empowering educators and uplifting students. She also describes herself as a God-fearing, humble, and goal-oriented person, strong-willed, and a people person who thrives on building relationships and inspiring others. We are honored here on Teachers Have Issues, yes, to welcome Waltrude Brown to the podcast. And as a passionate educator and leader and a lifelong champion for student success. Welcome, Waltrude.
Thank you very much, Lana. Thank you for this warm welcome.
Yes,
I'm by it.
I'm really happy to have you here. I'm glad that you said yes. You've been somebody I've been wanting to invite onto the podcast and to, talk to about your very much experience that you have in the education system.
Yes.
People wouldn't know, but when we started here on the podcast, Waltrude's still working. She's busy. She's busy in the process of working. Busy.
Yes.
So what's a day like for you as a principal?
As a principal, my day begins, of course, with God, being a God-fearing person, putting all my activities and everything that I do in the hands of God. And I am always elated to meet my little ones. I have 102 of them, and I know each one by name. I know about their families. I speak to them on a daily basis. I make sure that I forge a deep relationship with them. So on a daily basis, it is all about building relationships, making them better each day, making sure that they become better. And of course, that their welfare is my primary concern. Because if according to Maslow. If the Maslow is not met, the Piaget and all of the others cannot be met. So that is really what my goal is every day, to ensure that all the children are happy, to be at school and to look forward to be at school every day, as well as my team, the teachers, the watchmen, the cooks, the janitors, everybody form the team, because all of us are like a puzzle. Some puzzle pieces may be bigger than others, but everybody has a role to play to complete what happens at the school. So everybody is part of the team, and all of us, I work together with everybody to ensure that we meet our goals.
Good. You describe yourself as a God-fearing and humble, yet also strong-willed and goal-oriented person. How do you balance these aspects of your personality with your leadership role that you currently possess?
To get a balance, of course, first of all, you have to know yourself. So therefore, I'm a very organized person. So I organize my day. I am somebody, I believe in writing. You see, when I write things down, it really stays with me.
Yeah.
People may look at me as being old school and, there's the computer and all of that. Yes, but I like to write.
Yeah.
So I write a lot. I prepare for my day. I always make sure that I am prepared when I come into something. And that is something that I even pass on to my staff, my team. I always tell them, if I am not ready, I do not come to anything unprepared. I have to be informed, because I have to make informed decisions. And so organization is one of the most important things. Of course, self-discipline is also another one, because there are many distractions in the world. I could choose to do many other things when I get up in the morning, or decide to just see how the day goes or let it be haphazard. We all know that there are the inevitables in life, but we must have a plan. Okay, so I always have a plan. And I believe when we have a plan, then we can work with the plan and move in from there. So I'm able to balance my life very well. I make sure I put everything into perspective. When it's time for my spiritual life, I make time for it. I don't make excuses, because in life we always learn that phrase: if you want something, you will not make an excuse, you will make a way. And I believe in that. So therefore, this is what my mantra is: I make a way. So that is how I get my balance, and I'm able to, achieve my goals, meet my targets. And if I do not meet them, I know what to do in order to get there. So look at, do my SWOT and see where I can get on from there. So that's how I do it.
And I always like to hear you speak, because you sound so certain, and I think as a leader, you'd be somebody you want to follow, because you sound like you're very sure of yourself and certain in the decisions that you make. And I think it inspires confidence in people, just to hear you speak. And in looking at your many years, almost 40 years of experience in education, you have multiple degrees. What drives you to pursue, continuous learning, and what has that taught you?
I have had many mentors.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, I told a young lady, I did not get to where I am today by myself. It could not have happened. So many people motivated me. The people I worked with, they saw that ability in me, and they continued to drill that in my mind. You've got this, and I took it up, and with my level of confidence, I'm very confident in myself. I believe in myself. And so I decided to go forward. I have a very supportive husband who will always tell me, even now he's telling me, when are you going for your PhD? And he is there with me all the way. Imagine when I was graduating, the lady told him, maybe you need to stand behind your husband, because you have behind your wife, because you have been there all the way.
Yeah.
He was an integral part. Even when he came to pick me up, he would ensure that, he spoke to the people there, find out what I was doing. He has a vested interest in what I do. And so family is key in everything that I do. My children are very supportive. My husband is very supportive. I have a very supportive network. So that is one. Also, I have had a lot of challenges, which has molded me into the person that I am today. I don't think anything that will happen to me can be any deterrent in me moving forward. I lost my 24-year-old son 2 years ago. He was low functioning autism. And even while he was ill and even while he was there with the support of family, I was able to study. Even while I was studying with you guys, he was there, he was ill, but I did not let that deter me, because at the end of the day, as a spiritual person, I leave everything to the Almighty, and he knows what is best for us, because that in itself made me stronger. That made me a better person, a more empathetic person, and this prepared me for my leadership role even more. And I have a son who is high functioning on the other end. He is now going to a secondary school and he's topping his class. He's doing exceptionally well. People are amazed at his ability. So that in itself continues to boost me. So the Lord in his goodness, he took one of them away, but he left one there that is doubling, the effort, and that is motivating me every day. I also have a daughter who is into sports, into basketball. She's training basketball students for basketball in a lot of the primary schools in the island of St. Lucia, and she's doing wonders. So that in itself is motivating me, and I went into special ed precisely because of my two boys that I had, and of course, I had my heart and soul into it. I am a very passionate person. When I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. I don't let anything get in my way. I don't make excuses. I don't look for pity. I don't look for people to pity me, but then I look at what is within. Right. Because the good Lord said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I have the power. I have what it takes. I know what my talents are. I think I have found my purpose, what my purpose is, and I am enjoying it. For 38 years, I have my students saying to me, Miss, you have not changed. You still look so beautiful. You still look, and I keep telling them, you are the reason. You are the reason, because at the end of the day, the passion, it is still there. So I have that passion and that drive, and this is what keeps me going. Despite my challenges, I look at my challenges as being outside of me. I am me. God created me with great potential, and I can make it. And I also look at the lives of other people who have had similar struggles or even more, and how they were able to overcome, and I can do it too.
Well, you hear the passion in your voice for sure. And your experience ranges from classroom teaching to, disaster preparedness. How have these seemingly unrelated skills enrich your working education, that movement from teaching and disaster preparedness?
Now, education is a very dynamic field, and that is why I love education, because education encapsulates everything. Remember, the school is a microcosm of the society. And being a member of the disaster committee, being the president, and of course, I was raised in the area. I came to school. I went to school in the area. Now I'm the principal in the area, and having taught so many students, I am now in my community where I can give back, and to help the people in my community to become better. So when I joined the disaster committee, it's an extension of the whole education system, because we are actually educating people. Being from an island we are an island surrounded by water. At the end of the day, we have to empower each other, and we know the disasters that can befall us. So I just looked at it as another branch of education, because we cannot know everything, but at the end of the day, the more we can widen our field. And again, I look at the word of God, which says the people perish for lack of wisdom, for lack of knowledge. The more we can expand our horizons, the better it is for us. So it has actually expanded my horizon, because as a principal, yes, I am responsible for my shelter. My school is a shelter. Okay. So having done shelter management, I did not have to go and do that training again. I'm a shelter manager. I can empower my teachers when we do our drills. I am well aware of what the hazards are, what it is we have to do, and so on. So when I have to prepare, whatever it is that I have to do in terms of disaster management for my school and so on, I do not have much of a difficulty there, because I was already immersed in it. And of course, as part of the community, I believe it is mandatory. That's how I see it, that you don't let somebody from another community come to impact your community. You already have what it takes. You get going and you do it right there for your community.
Well said. Mm-hmm. But part of why I really wanted to have you here today is to talk about, not just your experience, but your leadership. And part of what I looked at when in your bio was your working experience with the Cuban delegation and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. So what did that, with those collaborations, teach you about education?
It really taught me that though education may have, diverse ways of doing things, because different cultures, education is based on culture. So Cuba has its own culture, but there are some core values and there are some core skills that we have to teach, because we all belong to a global village. We are global citizens, and there are certain things that we need to know. So when I met with these people, they have similar challenges, but they also have certain things that they do that we could emulate, to help our education system work better, especially in the mathematics area. We have been noticing over the years that many children are not succeeding in mathematics, or that they have a certain belief about math that is not helping them to succeed the mathematics. And even with some of our educators, the way that mathematics is being perceived, or the way that mathematics is being taught. So I learned a lot from them. They were able to share some of the best practices with us. We were able to meet on some common ground, and this helped us to be able to refine what we were doing. And it has been working. We have been seeing some progress as it pertains to that. So it's, we all doing the mathematics. We do it in different ways, though our cultures are different, but at the same time, there are some commonalities. And that is where we were able to strike the balance.
Mm-hmm. So you're someone with, high level of technical qualifications and, a self-described people person by nature. So how do those strengths come out in your work that you do as principal?
Yes, as a principal, I spend most of my day interacting with parents, interacting with children. I believe in letting parents know what is happening to their children in the moment. I don't wait to say, oh, later, or if it comes up. I need the parents, even though they are not attached to the school physically, that they can feel that they are part of the school wherever they are at their workplace. So I call them when we have very good news. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I call them about every little triumph, no matter how small, every little progress. I make a big thing out of it, because we know the world is more towards negativity. But I believe every little step is worth highlighting and celebrating. So I do that. Apart from just letting them know where they can work with their children and where they can improve. And I also empathize with them. They confide in me. They can share their personal issues with me, because I always let them know that without them, I would not have that post. That post would not be there. It would be obsolete without them having their children. So they are very important stakeholders in the education system and in the school. So I always let them know that they ought not to look down on themselves. It's not just about Mrs. Brown being the principal. I would not be the principal if there were no kids. So they play a pivotal role in that. In terms of my IT, I've always been fascinated by information technology, because this is the way the world is going, whether we believe it or not. Because when we look at what is happening these days, with a lot of jobs will be replaced, because of what is happening and so on, we need to keep abreast with it. So not just that I learned it, because what I learned about IT years ago when I did it, a lot has changed and a lot is new, even from our last course. IT changes on a daily basis, I think every second, every minute. So what I do, I keep abreast with technology, and whatever it is that I find challenging, I don't sit there and throw my hands in the air. I get people who can assist me. How can I do this? What is it that I can do with this, and so on? Because with AI is coming fast and furious. And as a leader, if I do not embrace AI, I do not expect my followers, the people who are there with me, those whom I supervise, to want to have the passion to follow as well. So I take the lead. I take the lead. As a leader, I don't believe in that top-down approach. I don't believe in that. We are in this together. I look at everybody as my colleagues. We are colleagues. We are all learning, and we are in it together. So that is how I look at it, and I navigate with what I have.
Good. So how do you see technology reshaping our Caribbean education?
I'm not just seeing it as reshaping it, I am seeing it pretty soon going to be the bedrock of our education system, because already a lot of children are doing exams online. We have a lot of our secondary schools right in St. Lucia that have become technical vocational, where the children have to use a lot of the technology, for example, into building technology, in design, in craft, in a lot of these things. So it's already been used. It's already been advocated for. So again, it is going to reshape. It is going to do that at a very, very, very fast pace. We are already behind. When we look at the Caribbean, we are behind. When we look at places like Singapore, and we look at Japan and China and all of these places, how education has become more like self-paced, like the children, they use a lot of technology, and it's not about a teacher just standing in a classroom and expecting the children to learn everything, and that you are going to have an exam at the end of whatever. So I see it moving very fast, and it is something that is going to impact education very, very, very immensely. So that is where teacher training will have to come in. That is where we will have to rethink a lot of what we are doing. We'll have to change our mindset. And this is one of the things I noticed that is really lacking. A lot of the mindset of our teachers, that having seen that education is evolving, that we are not going to where we used to be. We are going into a new place. And in order for us to go into that new place, we have to be prepared. So technology is going to be the bedrock of our education system.
So let's talk about your school, Bexon RC Infant School. What are some of the key initiatives that you've implemented to, improve your student outcomes and so forth?
First of all, we look at our intake. So for example, when we're going to get children for the kindergarten, I liaise with the early childhood centers around. I let them know what our expectations are from very early. So when they are having meetings with their parents, they could let them know what our expectations are of the children, of the parents, and so on. Also our programs. So I actually sell my school in a way. I sell so that the parents can know what the Bexon RC Infant School has to offer. So this is what I do. So before the parents come and register their children, they would have already known who is the principal of the school, some of the programs we have at the school, what is it that what is our mission, our vision, and all of that. So I put as much information out there as much as possible to sell my school, to make my school a school of choice. Even when I put out the registration information, maybe in church it's read or wherever, I always put that caption to make Bexon RC Infant School a school of choice. We also have some programs that I have implemented because I believe in the holistic development of individuals. Because yes, while the academic is taking center stage, but at the same time, we have to develop the whole person. So what I have decided to do is to partner with a past student of mine who is a certified swimming coach.
Right.
All over the world. He goes all over the world. And he said to me, I could have chosen to be in Belgium. They asked me to come to Belgium, but I said, no, I am not going. I'm staying in my island to give back. And so we have our students going to swimming every Thursday. They go to swimming. We also have dance at the school. We have the Buddy Ambassadors Club, which is a club that encourages children to be buddies and not bullies. So it's an anti-bullying club where we have children who are in the club who, especially if a child is ill, they make one visit, bring a hamper. They will encourage children at the school because we have what you call a buddy bench. So they go and sit on the bench and they comfort a child maybe that is feeling down, or to share with other children, or just to have a conversation. I too, as the principal, I go there with them sometimes. If somebody reports something about them to me, I go there and say, let's have a seat. We sit there and then I remind them. So these are some of the initiatives that we have at the school. And something that I do, my watchmen, I have a meeting with them every term to ask them how things are going. If they have any suggestions for me. I also have a social activity for them because I have to make them feel that they belong. When people feel that they belong, they do more. They go, they go beyond what is expected of them. My cooks, my janitors, just recently, when we have Teacher Appreciation Day, I don't just take the teachers out. Everybody goes out, including the caretaker of the school. Everybody. I take everybody out and we have a good time. So again, I have that, as I said, that whole school approach. Type. I think everybody belongs, everybody is involved. Nobody is looked down upon or no suggestion is, undermined. So that is how the school is run. And as I always say, I don't say my school, it's not my school, it's our school. It is the school. The school belongs in the community to all of us.
Sounds like a lovely place to work and to attend.
Well, you just said that a young lady just came here and she's on teaching practice. And she said, are you going to secure a spot for me in this place?
Oh, that's good. That shows you're doing something well, as we've been hearing,
Yes.
But I know that, as you said, you have a background in special education. So how does that come into what you do at your school in terms of accessibility and, catering to diverse learning needs?
First of all, when I came to the school as principal, it is 3 years. For the past 2 years, I have been advocating for my own special education teacher because there is a school just next door to me, the primary school. We are the feeder school and our students go over, but we used to share a special ed teacher. And it was just 2 days my students would have that teacher. So as the foundation, my justification was that my school is the foundation school, kindergarten to grade 2. If the foundation is not solid, there is no way that the children can continue, when they transition to go to the primary school. So I advocated for my own special ed teacher and I got one this academic year.
Oh, bravo, congrats.
And I got a very, very passionate lady, having worked with older kids who had special needs from the primary school in a school called CARE, where children normally who do not operate at the secondary school at the level, their parents normally send them to this school and they end up doing very well. And she was the one working with the children with a lot of the needs. So she's here and she's doing wonders. What we do the referral process very early. Now, as a person with special ed background, I have an eye for challenges. So when children come into the school, I must tell you that I observe them a lot. I go around and I observe how they play. I observe how they socialize. I observe how they speak. I look at everything that they do. And I have that eye to see children who may have challenges and so that we can tap that very early. Because early intervention is very key. Early intervention is key for me. So this is one of the things that I do. So having that background and having worked with my 2 sons, so this has helped me even more. So I go around the different classes, I work with the children, somehow or the other, I have a knack, for them, they gravitate towards me. I know how to calm them down, how to get them, to feel good about themselves, and even take them on a walk. Sometimes I have a little girl at my school, I say, let's just go for a walk. I take her for a little walk, and sometimes she has these crying episodes. And what has worked for her is, I cannot speak to you if you are crying, okay? I cannot speak to you if you are crying. And that alone, works for her. So my background in special ed makes me an all-rounder in that a lot of children who are coming to infant schools now, they have a lot of challenges. We don't know where it is stemming from, but my background has helped me to be able to help my staff to also provide them with information, whatever that I have learned. I also have my sister-in-law who went into special ed in Barbados. She's actually the head of the group of children with autism on the autism spectrum in Barbados. And I get a lot of information. I network with her a lot. Whenever they are having programs, workshops, and so on, she'll send me the link. I join, or I send the link to my teachers, and I get them to learn as much as possible. So as much as we can get, we are doing it. And as I told you, it is a team effort. The janitor, the cook, everybody, they know the children, they know their challenges. So if I'm not around and I don't happen to be by the child at the time, they know exactly what to do, to assist. So it's all hands on deck.
Right. So as we're wrapping up a bit here, I can ask you the question, with the eponymous name of the podcast, what issues you think teachers have, just generally? It doesn't have to be negative, of course, but, what is a pressing issue you think we're facing today?
One of the most pressing issues I find is passion. Passion is lacking. Teaching is more like a stepping stone for a lot of people. They do teaching because they had no other choice. It's not that they willfully chose that I would like to be a teacher, and it irks me every day. The passion that used to be there is not, I'm not saying it is missing totally, but it is for the greater part not there. So the days gone by where our heart and soul used to be in it, and we were not looking at, even me, up to now, you'll ask me what is my salary, I don't know. As a teacher, you'd ask me, what is your salary, Mrs. Brown? I don't know, because this was not the most important thing on my mind. The students were my primary concern, And another concern I have is the fact that we have moved into technology. The face-to-face interactions, that used to be before, where the relationships were really forged, a lot of that is not really there. I don't really feel the connection, because everything in life is about connection. If there is no connection, nothing is going to happen. And I just feel there is not that connection. And also another thing again is the thirst for knowledge is not there. Although we have the World Wide Web, as a principal every day, when I'm looking at my teacher's plans, I go and I look online and I'm saying, look at such a beautiful idea. Oh my gosh. And it is all there. At my time, there was nothing much. So we were forced to be creative. But now it's like everything is there. AI can generate a lesson for you. And then a teacher can generate a lesson, but as to the execution of the lesson and to ensure that children learn, it's a totally different thing. So again, these are some of the things that I can see, but we still have passionate teachers. We still have people who have the children's best interests at heart. For the most part, we still have them. We still have these people there.
What after all the years of teaching, what makes you the most proud, and what would you want for your students?
What makes me the most proud is to see my students, all of them, even those who did not excel as I expected, but that they have great admiration for me, because I have never given up on any one of them. Even when I meet them in whatever fields or whatever endeavors they are in, I still let them know that, I am proud of them. I still let them know that if they have made a mistake, it is not over. Life is not over, that they can still, move on. They can still become better. They are still young, as long as we have life, we can change. All of us have made mistakes and we have done things that we are not proud of, but we did not stay there. When we fall down, we have to get up. And I'm so proud when I go to the hospital. I go to all different places. And even when they don't see me and they meet my husband, Mrs. Brown was my teacher, you remember? And they will give the stories, and recently my daughter went to give birth to my grandson, because I have two grandchildren. And one of the nurses there was my student. And when I came in, she said, Miss, she was waving at me, and she said, here I am taking care of your daughter. And I said, you know why? Because I took good care of you. That's why. And then we have the discourse and so on. So I meet them in all spheres of life. And it is always a pleasure. It warms my heart. $1 million would not give me that feeling that I get when I meet my students, and to see how far my influence has been, because they said the influence of an educator, goes beyond what we can ever think about. So I'm very happy that I was able to make an impact in their lives. And just to let you know that I taught some students, now I have their children at my school.
Fabulous.
Yes, so I'm more than 3/4 of my population is from students that I have taught.
Lovely.
Yes.
Well, this has been a most enjoyable chatted interview, and I know my listeners have heard the passion in your voices. If you're ever considering migrating to St. Lucia and having children there, it's school to go to. So thank you so much, Waltrude, for joining me here on Teachers Have Issues. Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was a pleasure indeed.
And with that, I say to my listeners, thank you so much, Waltrude Brown, for joining us here on Teachers Have Issues. Yes, remember, you empower minds and you ignite curiosity.